In preparation for the algebra regions, we're going to be reviewing how to evaluate expressions. So on this particular sheet, we're going to do a few problems. Let's do 1, 2, 3, and 11, and we'll wrap up with 12. So let's start with number 1. These problems are actually pretty easy if you guys know how to use your graphing calculator. It says if t equals -3, then 3t squared plus 5t plus 6 equals what? And we've got 4 options, of course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply substitute -3 in for where the t is. So I'm going to write 3, -3 squared plus 5, -3 plus 6. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bust out our handy dandy calculator, and this is really where all the this is going to do all the legwork for us. So I'm going to let's turn this on. And there we go. So I'm going to press 3, open parentheses, -3 squared plus 5, open parentheses, -3 plus 6. And we want to be really careful that when we're doing negatives, that we don't put the subtraction sign. So this is on the right side, this blue button with the horizontal line, that's for operations, that's for subtraction or minus. The sign underneath the 3, that's for integer value. That's going to be our negative sign. So when we pop this information into our calculator and press enter, it gives us the answer 18. And indeed, 18 is the correct answer. 18 is the answer for number 1. We really didn't have to do any intellectual sweat for that one. We can see clearly from the calculator how to resolve that. We're going to continue working through these. So it says, what is the value of the expression 2x to the third y when x equals -2 and y equals 3? So I'm going to write, just so I know, 2, and I know that I'll open the parentheses, and x equals -2 to the third, and then I'm going to do another parentheses, and I'm going to plug in the y, which we know equals. So now we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're going to simply open up our calculator. We're going to clear this, and I can see that 2 parentheses -2. And now this is to the third, so here's how we're going to write that. I'm going to do this sort of up arrow above the division sign. 3, open parentheses, 3. And I'm going to close the parentheses, and then it's really important. We're going to press enter. The answer is -48 in our calculator. Is that an option? I can see that if a equals 3 and b equals -1, what is the value of ab minus b squared? So I know I'm going to okay. Open parentheses, close parentheses, open parentheses, close parentheses, and we're including 3 times -1 minus, open parentheses, -1, close parentheses, squared. So now I've gotten that written. If you feel comfortable, you can type it in your calculator. Just make sure that you type all the values appropriately. So I'm just going ahead, and now rather than the negative sign, I'm going to put the minus sign, open parentheses, -1. I'm going to raise it to the second power, and the answer is -4. So when we go to our options, is that an option? It certainly is. The answer to number 3 is option number 3. Let's take a look at numbers 11 and 12. These ones deal with absolute value. And it's actually arguably even easier than the ones that we did a moment ago, but you just need to know how to approach it appropriately. Question 11 asks, what is the value of the expression absolute value of -5x plus 12, end of absolute value? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write absolute value, -5, open parentheses, 5, plugging it in, close parentheses, plus 12, close absolute value. So how do we punch this into the calculator? We're going to open up our handy dandy calculator, and what we need to do to start the absolute value is go to math. That's really important. Go over 1 to number, and then I can see the very top option is ABS. That stands for absolute value. You're going to press enter. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to type in -5, open parentheses again. We're going to type in that value of x, 5, close parentheses, plus 12. And so now what I know is we've got 2 parentheses on the left side, and we've only got 1 parentheses right here. So we need to add 1 more parentheses so it's closed. Now we see 2 on the left, 2 on the right, sealed up nice. It looks good. We're going to press enter. The answer is 13. Is that an option? It sure is. So the answer to number 11 is 13, that this is the absolute value. Let's take a look at number 12. It says the value of the expression negative absolute value of a minus b when a equals 7 and b equals -3. So let's try this one out. I'm going to write negative absolute value, and I know that a equals 7 minus b equals -3. And I'm going to close parentheses and then seal it up with the absolute value sign. I'm going to go into our calculator and let's start over. So first thing we do is the negative sign. We're going to go for the absolute value sign. We're going to go to math. We're going to shift over 1 using the arrow key to the right. We're going to go to number. It's already on absolute value, ABS, so I'm going to press enter. I'm going to type in 1 more parentheses, 7. I'm going to close parentheses, minus, open parentheses, -3, close parentheses, and then we have to do 1 more to seal it up completely. And that looks good right there. We can see that we've got, it looks appropriate. I'm going to press enter. The answer is number 10, -10. That's option number 1. That is the correct answer. Wonderful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you should feel pretty confident about approaching these expressions, evaluating them successfully, simply using your calculator. If you have any questions, please let me know. Good luck. Let's take a look at questions 8 and 9 on this evaluating expressions worksheet. So I can see that both 8 and 9 involve division. And I can see that number 8 says if x equals 4 and y equals -2, the value of 1/2 xy squared is what? So let's write this out. That's going to help me sort of organize my thoughts and see how to best tackle this. So I'm going to write 1/2, and because this is a division problem, I'm going to put that in parentheses. I'm going to open another set of parentheses for x, and I can see that x equals 4, and I can see that x is right next to y, and y equals -2, and I can see that it's squared. So let's go into our calculator and let's see what it gives us. That's not our calculator. Let's see what it says. So I'm going to go to open parentheses, 1 divided by 2, open parentheses, 4, close parentheses, open parentheses, -2, squared. And when we press enter, the answer is 8. Is 8 an option? It sure is. 8 is option number 2. And this is our answer. 8 is the answer to number 8. Nice. So right beneath it, number 9. And number 9 says, what is the value of x squared minus 4y divided by 2? Let's write this out. And bear with me because we're going to need to add maybe an extra set of parentheses to keep us in check. So I can see that it says x equals 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do open parentheses, 4, close parentheses, squared, minus 4 times -3. Great. And this is divided by 2. Now we're going to have to do one extra set of parentheses to keep everything in order and to tell the calculator that this is the numerator, that this up here is the numerator, and what's on the bottom is the denominator. So I'm going to add an extra step an extra set of parentheses. So we've got quite a few, but now when we go into our calculator, it's not our calculator, we can see that I'm going to put open parentheses, 4, close parentheses, I'm going to do the squared button, minus 4, open parentheses, -3, close parentheses, divided by 2. And when we press enter, we get 14. Let's see if 14 is an option. It is. 14 is option number 4. So the answer to number 9 is 14